Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. Happy Easter to those who celebrate it. Happy Passover, happy Ramadan, lots of holidays happening.
Easter Shack.
Now. Easter Shack, for sure. How are you doing, Donnie?
I'm pretty good. Feeling good. Played a lot of games yesterday.
Good.
Having a pretty good weekend.
I think we're both feeling better than we were last week.
Yeah, I'm in better spirits than last week.
Yeah, me too. Although I had a heck of a week for my spring break. Oh my gosh. You might remember, I don't know if you heard all of this when it happened last time, but in August, you know how I adopted Frisk, my cat, back in June last year. And in August, he was a stray. You know, I don't know anything about his history, but in August, he threw up and had worms in it. And I had to go to the vet and get him dewormed with medication and stuff. And then he was like cleared. He was okay. And then in November, it happened again. He threw up. There were more worms. It was gross. Took him back to the vet, got a more aggressive treatment.
Sure.
Cleared, they did tests and stuff. He was okay. No more signs of it. And, that was November. I thought we were in the clear. But a couple days ago, he threw up and there were worms in it again.
Yeah.
I was so upset. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many times do I have to go through this? How many times does he have to go through this? So I took him back to the vet and we're like, okay, we're going to do the medication again, but we're also going to do a couple other things. Like you need to give him, the monthly, I don't know if you do this with like your dogs or cats, but like that Revolution kind of liquid that you put on the back of the neck to like get rid of fleas and ticks. There's like a kind that is preventative for like roundworm.
Annually.
Okay.
Yeah.
They gave me one to do every month for 6 months. And they told me to clean out completely his litter box and bleach it every 2 weeks for the next 6 weeks.
Oof.
And so yesterday, me and my mom spent like hours not just doing that, but like bleaching the whole bathroom, any kind of trace, like the whole floor, like every single inch. Like I'm not going to do that every 2 weeks, but like, oh my gosh, I just feel bad for him. And it was a $345 vet bill. And then he hates the car, but normally he's like a good car rider. He just meows. But then just to like cherry on top of it, he had an accident and peed in the carrier on the car ride home. I got all over him. So then as soon as we got home, after I paid $345, I had to like stick him in the bath and clean him off. So that was my life the past 48 hours. That's a day.
I feel you. I had a day like that last week myself.
And then I come home and I'm like, you know what, after we clean the bathroom and, that whole day, I'm like sitting down, getting ready to stream, have like a really like happy evening. And then I hear the news that Taylor Swift and her longtime boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, have apparently broken up. Donnie,
I didn't even know she was in a relationship.
This was like she's written 4 albums with like love songs about how happy she is with him and how he's like the one. And like, if there's no hope for them, then what hope is there for anyone else?
Who's this person?
Joe Alwyn.
I didn't even know this person existed until
he's a movie star. He's a British movie star and they have co-written songs together. She has never co-written songs.
I thought all of her songs were about like terrible breakups.
That was like 15 years ago, Donnie. Catch up with the times.
I'm dating myself.
Yes. She has been in a relationship with him for almost 7 years. And
well, good. Like, maybe her next album will be amazing. That's the issue with Alanis. She's just been too happy for too long. We need someone to break her heart again.
Well, apparently the breakup was amicable.
Uh-oh.
And it had
maybe she's trading
course. Up. What? Trading up?
Yeah.
He was perfect to her.
She's getting a new beau.
Well, she's touring right now, so she's probably going to take some time to herself. But I'm going to see her in May, and she is going to sing those songs about how in love she is with him with a straight face to us.
Okay. I'm
just so sad.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it was just really heartbreaking. I'm normally not one to get like all caught up in celebrity relationships, but like
I'm a
this one
little
sucks.
surprised.
This one sucks.
I could care less about celebrities.
Normally, that's me too. Normally, I do not care, but this
I
is
honestly
different.
didn't know this person existed.
And they were very private with their relationship.
They must be, yeah. Because I know that she dated was it John Mayer, right?
Oh, we hate him.
Right. That I know. I think I've picked that up from my wife and daughter. They don't like him or something.
No, he dated her. He was 33, and
so
she
like
was
through osmosis.
19.
Through osmosis, I get some of this. Taylor
And
Swift.
he took advantage of her as a child. She was 19. That's a child. And broke her heart, and she was too young for him.
Mm.
He should have known better. He was 33.
Mm.
Yeah, we hate John Mayer. We hate John Mayer, and we hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal too?
Oh, we can't stand him.
What?
Yeah.
Great actor.
He broke her heart. She
Incredible
wrote
actor.
a 10-minute heartbreaking song about him.
Damn, he must have meant something then. Good for him.
Yeah. What? Good for him. What?
At this point, it's an honor to have a song written about you by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather like
That's a career
song
boost. Good
called
for you.
Lover and Lavender Haze, like all of these nice songs about you, rather than like a 10-minute "You Ruined My Life" song?
I guess. Better something than nothing at all, though. Correct? Right? Better to have loved and lost than to have not loved at all.
It just feels like my parents are getting divorced, Donnie.
That's what it feels like. That's this for you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm clearly like in the wrong demographic to be talking about this with you.
Okay, I hate the comments that she might be the problem. I'm sorry, but when you're in your teens and early 20s, you're allowed to date. Like, it's not unusual to be dating a lot of people in your teens and early 20s. And I'm sorry, but 6 years, how long have you been in a relationship at that age? Like, come on.
Joe.
Half the people who say that would kill to be in a 6-year relationship. To end it amicably. That's not you're the problem.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, can't be having teenagers out here dating 35-year-olds or whatever.
Okay, that is not the teenager's fault.
If
the 35-year-old is dating a 19-year-old, that's the 35-year-old.
I'm aware of legal and the way you would want to maybe assign blame, but it's not like the other person has no blame.
When you're 19 and you're wooed by an older celebrity, that is not the teenager's fault, and that is called victim blaming.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, there's two sides to every story.
Okay.
I don't even know what's happening. I just like messing with you.
What do you mean she knew what she was doing?
That's the only enjoyment I get out of this. Joe's with me.
Nobody can look at me with a straight face and say they didn't make bad decisions at 19 because you thought you knew everything at that age.
My daughter thinks she knows everything at every age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if she dated somebody who was 14 years older than her and she thought that she was making the right decision, you would probably be pissed off too.
She wouldn't. That's the difference. I don't know where Taylor's dad was, but like that shit would have went down on my watch.
Her parents were not happy with it either.
Oh, well, yeah, but it wouldn't go down on my watch.
Anyway, I saw the Mario movie.
Yes, this Mario movie. It's taking over the world. I'm not even on Twitter, and I can't even escape from it. I signed in to Twitter to post our questions, and I have like 30 notifications from Sean about this damn movie and how much money he's making. I feel required to let the world know that Sean Capri thought it was going to make $1 billion. Apparently we didn't agree with him. So he keeps tagging us.
It's not gonna make $1 billion, but it's a very good movie. And I know you were not on the hype train at all.
None. Not even with all of the hype surrounding it coming out of it.
You would really appreciate all.
I'm sure I will. I'll watch it.
I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry. Continue.
You would appreciate all. So the movie wise, it was fine. You know, it was a good movie. It wasn't anything cinematic masterpiece, groundbreaking, anything that hasn't already been done before. But I feel like it was a very love letter for our age, for the fans who like have been with Nintendo, not just Mario, but Nintendo for all the while, because of all of the little background references that they sneak in and all the little references and the soundtrack and just like little things that like I went to go see it with my parents who like don't know anything about Mario, and they liked it for the movie, but they would not have gotten what, you know, you and I would get out of it with all of the little references that were just like a big smile on my face the whole time. Like when the Galaxy theme played and like seeing like, you know, the guy wearing a hat that says Wrecking Crew, like that's the kind of stuff we would get, you know? It was very good. You can talk.
I can talk now. Gotcha.
Yeah, well,
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I'm back in. Yeah, no, that seems to be what the folks in the Discord are saying. They're saying that, you know, we got all the folks in the chat talking about how great the soundtrack is, and it seems to be a common thing. Everybody loves the music, and I'm sure it was going to be chock full of that. I remember similar things when I watched like Wreck-It Ralph and stuff. I mean, that seems to be kind of like how these movies go. They're almost like they're animation and cartoons. So they're very, you know, child friendly, but they're all also, you know, this has just been like an adult animation theme for like the last 20 years, where they're just chocked full of like Easter egg references and nostalgia. And just make people feel nostalgic and happy. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and to be honest with you, that's exactly what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that they, you know, they did it the right way. Like it wasn't. I mean, the story was fine. Like I think on the story level, it was just like good, like family movie. But just like little things like they had the Star Fox R-Wing on top of the TV. They had like an NES box that he was playing. It was like Kid Icarus or something at one point. Charles Martinet was had a couple cameos, and like you could very clearly tell it was him.
Oh, that's
good.
Like
it was done in like a really tasteful way, I think. You know, because I think people were disappointed that he like was just going to get like a little cameo role, but he had 2 roles and it was very good. I won't spoil because I know some people haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I'm glad that I went to go see it. And I know there's like a lot of talk about what else, you know, Nintendo should do for movies. And
I think we have several of those questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I'll say my thoughts for that then. But like, I don't know. I was happy with it.
Good. I'm sure I'll watch it whenever it comes to a streaming platform.
Yeah, you should, because I know you would
like
it.
Peacock or HBO or something. Yeah, mm-hmm. I know that Jack will like it.
Yeah.
My daughter hates everything that we like now. She's in that stage, so I think maybe she'll enjoy it when she's like 25, out on her own or something. But yeah, I'm sure we'll like it. Just not willing to go to the theaters for it. That's all.
That's fair. Movies are expensive, yo.
Dude, I
went
Melissa
to a matinee.
Went to John Wick.
$11.
It was $75.
Holy crap!
Between tickets, two tickets, 2 drinks, 1 popcorn, $75.
Oh my gosh, that's insane!
It's insane.
That's so insane. Like that's not worth it.
I watched a TikTok where somebody was like, "Here are the reasons people don't like movies anymore," and he just goes on and on about like he's like, the screens aren't as good, the chairs aren't as good. I was like, no, none of this matters. It's so expensive to go to a movie. That's why people don't want to go anymore. Mm-hmm. Like that's it.
Yeah.
When I went to the movies, I could go to the movies for like $10, and I hate sounding like so damn old, but like you could just get a ticket for like $6 or $7, right? Like drinks are expensive, but they were expensive like $5, not $17.50 for a large. They're like, what? Yeah. What is the matter with this? Is egregious.
I don't even buy, you know, the concessions anymore. Like if I want to bring like a little snack, I'll get something from like Wawa or like you know, a little box of candy for like $1.50 at Wawa and then bring it.
Through the roof, man. And the sad part is I'm going to go to the movies several times this year. I haven't been excited for movies in a year in quite a bit. So with John Wick, we've got Evil Dead. There's the Fast and Furious thing. There's the Chris Nolan movie. Like there's I feel like there's 10 movies I want to see in theaters this year, and it's going to cost me a ton. I need a good drive-in. Like we have a drive-in in Atlanta, but it's all the way downtown Atlanta, and not the best place to catch a movie. But yeah, I'm feeling you on the movie thing.
I wish drive-ins would make a comeback too. I went to one a couple years ago. It was like showing an old movie that wasn't showing like something that was out now. And like I like that because I like not being around people that are making noise, and I like being in my own comfort, my own little bubble. It was during the pandemic, actually.
You can bring your own
they brought
stuff
it back. Yeah.
I don't know how long movies are going to be around. I mean, I think they've got to deal with the theaters to keep getting new releases, but it just seems antiquated. I liked it during the pandemic when I could just rent a movie at home. Even expensive, it was like, even if it was like $25, man,
that's still cheaper.
A third of what I pay to go see it at the movie theater. I'd much rather just pay it at home.
You're in the comfort of your home, and you know there's not going to be people bothering you, and you know that you're safe, and you know that like, I don't know, it is better.
I have a nice TV. I've got beautiful lights. I've got great sound. I'd much rather watch it at home.
You can pause it if you need to go to the bathroom and not miss anything.
I got my own popcorn maker.
Your own popcorn, which probably costs like, $2 instead of $9. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your week with Frisk. It's
okay.
Challenging.
The good news is, like, I feel like if anything, like, it's not that bad because they said adult cats will like not really be affected too badly from it. Like, he's eating normally, he's acting normally, his behavior's totally fine. Like, it could be worse. So I just like want it to be done with. Like, I'm sick of like it coming back. So I just hope this is like the last time. Like,
I think when that happens, we haven't had that happen too often, but like when we adopted all those kittens, they had worms. And I think it was one of those things where you just didn't run the dewormer like long enough. Like, you've just got to, get it completely done in one cycle.
Yeah, so that was that. And then besides that, this was my spring break, and I played a lot of Advance Wars, which I'm reviewing. I put out my preview this past week on Wednesday, so you can read my preview with my initial thoughts so far. But I have played a little bit more since I published that. I'm almost done, I think, with the first game. The game comes out later this month, so I'm almost done with the first game. I'm playing on casual mode, and like, either it's like still kind of tough, or I'm just like really bad at tactics games, or like maybe a mix of both. But like, there are a couple missions that I had to try a couple times because like I was just getting demolished by the enemy team. There's this thing called Fog of War where like the parts of the battlefield are like in a fog, so like you can't see where the enemy is, and like all of a sudden, like, they'll start coming after me, and like I didn't know they were there, and then I die. But I like that there are multiple win scenarios, like victory scenarios. Like, did you played the original Advance Wars?
Yeah.
Like, how you can either win by capturing their headquarters or by defeating all of the enemy units. And I like that because sometimes, like, if I try to like capture the headquarters and I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, like, then I can just win the next try by just brute force killing everybody.
Sure.
Or vice versa. Like, if I have trouble,
you don't play a lot of games like this, do you? Right?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
This is like totally out of my comfort zone, but like I'm enjoying it too. Like, there's some things that like I'm not liking, or like that I wish was different. Like, I think it's a big mistake that there's no touchscreen support on this game. I do play a lot of handheld mode, and I feel like this is the perfect game to be like,
RTS.
Like, let me drag this guy over here, tap, tap, tap. Like, let me go to my menu, tap, tap, tap. But like, it's not. And like, it feels like it could be like a little clunky, like with the controls, but like, I just feel like touchscreen would have been a lot better. So I'm sad that they didn't do that. But I mean, that's not like a huge deal. The story is like really stupid. It's like, I'm so over it. Like, it's so silly. Like, it feels like teenage drama. Silly. But like, yes. I have a question. Like, is this supposed to be, and like, I don't know if this is like translated as well with like the original as it is in this one. Is it supposed to be like a bunch of friends playing a board game together? Or is it supposed to be like real life?
It's been a very long time. No, I do. It's been so long. I haven't played this game since, I want to say, Virtual Console on Wii U. I want to say that. I think they put it out. It wasn't part of the GBA thing that they did. I think that was the last time I played Advance Wars.
Might have been. Because
it's been that long. That's since the last time I played it. Since the time I actually played it. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember it being goofy and I like
is
those
goofy.
funny things, and I love the little comic stuff that pops out, and the dialogue is just dumb. I remember thinking that was really funny at the time. Now again, that time was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I feel about it now.
It's just very like contrasting, like war and like artillery units and invasion and colonization versus like silly, like she was my rival in high school. Like that's my ex-boyfriend.
Exactly.
Like it's just like you're going like it's not the seriousness of the tone is like doesn't match up, I think, with like warfare. So that's why I'm like wondering, is this, and like I don't know if I'm just projecting because like they look like little board game figures, like they look like little toys on a grid. And so like I know that's the art style, but like is that supposed to be like, and like the background, like I wish I could explain this better. I'll need to like pull up a screenshot or something, but like the whole background looks like it could be a table with like the board on it. So
no, I get exactly what you're saying. I don't recall or remember ever hearing or playing from the game of like some sort of, fourth wall moment at the end where their kids playing on a I never got that.
And it might not even be that explicit, where it like
but that juxtaposition that you're describing is honestly so much that I remember. Like the best part for me is like the fun part. That's the reason I'm excited for it. That's why I was so excited when I saw it come back. I was like, oh man. Because that, I mean, maybe slightly nostalgic, but it's such a departure from like Fire Emblem. Right. So where Fire Emblem can be silly, but like anime silly. Fire Emblem oftentimes is very dramatic, and it's very like double crossing and family drama and all of that type of stuff. Like Advance Wars was silly. Silly is a really good way of putting it. Just much sillier.
It is silly. Yeah, it is. It does feel new when I'm playing. It doesn't feel like it's a dated game. It does feel like something that, could come out now. Although there are like a couple lines or two of dialogue here or there where like I noticed one where she was like, look at this I forget exactly what it was. It was like this portable screen monitor or something. And like that dialogue felt very 2001 and not like, it was like they could have changed it to be like, look at, I don't know, just something.
Look at this
modern.
iPad.
Like, then I know they're not going to say iPad.
No, I want it. I want it. I want all of that. Look at the blueberries. Look at the BlackBerry screen on that. Like, yes, let's do it.
I read and I'm like, wow, that's like a weird way of saying that. And then I remembered, oh wait, this dialogue is from before iPhones, before like regular, screens. But yeah, it does feel, modern gameplay. It does feel like it's, pretty simplistic tactics game. Like, I don't know. I've never played Fire Emblem. I'm sure it's a lot more involved, but it's
Fire Emblem is more detailed.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem, can you group units in Advance Wars?
So you can, I don't know if this
pair
is
them off.
Yeah, if like you have two of the same type that have taken damage and they're near each other, you can combine them to like create one healed unit.
I gotcha. One of the things I liked on Fire Emblem on 3DS, in addition to touchscreen and dual screen stuff that you could do with the stylus and all that, but at one point you could group units together. And I've missed it because it's not something they've allowed to do ever. And it just made the time of moving units one by one by one by one by one so much faster. And it's one thing that I've noticed a lot with the console releases. I'm like, I really miss that. Because on console, it can feel really long when you're sitting there one by one. You grab the unit, you move you go grab the other unit, move the unit. And it was a lot nicer in Fire Emblem because a lot of times I will move them I'll create like little waves, like little packs of my units together. And I'll always kind of keep 2 or 3 next to each other. Yeah. And I've always wanted to like, just let me pair them as like a battalion or a team. Just let me move them all at once as opposed to, having to do it, this way. That can be a little tedious, but on the higher difficulties, that's almost necessary. Like you have to be very strategic about where you place every single unit.
Yes, my turns take a long time. Yeah. Like I feel like I am sitting there for like 10-20 minutes before I click next turn just to like make sure that I've placed everything exactly where I want it to be, like that I didn't make any stupid mistakes. And so like the turns can be really long. And
I love these games. I have such a soft spot in my heart for this style of game. my first foray into PC games was like RTS battle sims. And I always, honestly, I think it's always like an evolution of chess. When I was in middle school, I was in chess club. So I just kind of took to these games very, naturally. And I love this era, Advance Wars. Oh man, I played Advance Wars, I played Battalion Wars, I played End War, played Fire Emblem. That is like the golden age for these games. That's why I was so excited for Advance Wars to come back. And I hope it sells well. I don't think it will. But I'm hoping that it'll sell. I would love to see a new Advance Wars game. Ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. I would really love to see. During the 3DS era, felt crazy that we never got an Advance Wars. With how much Fire Emblem kept taking off, they just kept doing Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem. And I realize it's more popular, but like, why not go back and forth, or at least have a spinoff every couple of years? Like it always blew my mind that we just never got another Advance Wars. This almost feels too late at this point. Like the time for this was like 5 years ago.
I feel like they probably figure that the niche has been filled with Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and Fire Emblem still, for all its popularity, still isn't a giant seller. No,
it's gotten bigger, but yeah. Is there a rewind feature like in Fire Emblem? I don't know what the rewind feature in Fire Emblem is like. There's no like undo button or anything. The only thing you can do is restart your turn entirely. So like if you did your whole turn but didn't move on to, didn't end the turn, and you're like, okay, this went really badly, you can reset that entire day. And so like you can fix those mistakes, but like then you have to just do it all over again.
Gotcha.
Which is nice. I have used that multiple times.
Fire Emblem usually get like some sort of item or something that lets you rewind, and you can actually go back movement by movement by movement. And you can
that would be nice.
Basically restore to this point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I look forward to your final review. I read your preview.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So yes, I will. I'll finish that up. I'm hoping to finish the first game today or tomorrow, if I have some time today, and then I'll move on to the second game and hopefully, fly through that one. The game comes out on the 21st.
How's it look? How's it run? No
it's
issues?
Pretty. I mean, I don't have the eye. I don't have the eye for like how it runs, but like,
but you're not noticing anything.
There's not. No, there's nothing. No, there's nothing like. I mean, it's not. I don't think it requires a whole lot of like manpower or computing power. It's pretty. I like it. I like the contrast between like the toy like little tanks and objects on the screen and stuff. They look very like that Link's Awakening kind of style.
Yeah.
Contrast to the very like flat anime cartoon style of like the cutscenes of like the characters. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I like Sammy, the girl Sammy. She's very cool.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of swag and t-shirts and hoodies and stuff you can get.
I like her.
Orange Star, yeah. Advance Wars is cool. And like in a niche underground kind of way. I probably feel a lot like Advance Wars, like how people might feel about like Golden Sun or F-Zero or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been up to. What about you?
Downside of playing or of doing 2 podcasts a week as opposed to just my one is that sometimes you're going to feel a little repetitive. So anybody that listens to me on PSVG as well, I apologize. But yeah, it's still just Dredge. I'm playing Dredge. That's that boat game that I talked about. It came out recently. I'm playing on PC. I'm not playing it on Switch, but it is on Switch and you can go play it. And I love it. The game has taken over my life. I played it yesterday for like 5 hours. It's really, really, really good.
Good.
Yeah, probably might be at the top of my list right now for the year already.
Nice.
It's crazy to say because like it has no business being compared to games like Resident Evil or Hi-Fi Rush and things like that. But
why not?
I mean, just I think for most people they'll they just miss it as indie game. But for me, it's all about fun and my fun value, my enjoyment factor is through the roof with this game.
That's all matters.
It's addictive, and I have this part of me where these sorts of games really get to me. Where you go out, you fish, you get your stuff, you come back, you sell it, you upgrade your boat, you can go a little further, you can stay out a little longer, you can go a little faster, and you just keep doing it. And that simple loop, when I find something that's really enjoyable, like the little mini games, the little fishing game, when it's really kind of Wind Wakery and it's kind of pretty and I enjoy just being out there, it's so much fun. I'll just sit there. Yesterday I had to go pick up groceries. I was like, all right, I got to go pick up groceries. I got 2 hours. I'm going to play a little of this and I'm going to hop in the shower. And I played all of it until I was 30 minutes late to pick up my groceries. Like I just keep playing and keep playing and
That's
keep playing.
good.
I have a hard time putting it down. It honestly, it'd be dangerous if I had this on portable. There's like a part of me that's like glad I didn't get it on Switch because I'm like this would be a problem. If I could just do this at all times, carry this around with me, this would be a problem. But yeah, I have an
Do you
addictive
find yourself
tendency.
thinking about these games when you're not playing them?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
that.
Well, yes, because when you go out there, it's not as simple as I'm making it sound. When you go out there, there's certain items that are required to fish in certain spots. There's certain fish that you need nets for versus rods versus deep rods versus shallow rods versus ocean versus like, so there's all of these different attributes that, so there's like you have to like prep and do your loadout and you have to go out with like a mission. So it's a lot of like checking out your map, checking out your missions. There are like side stories. You meet these people and they ask you to do things for them, to go fetch things, to go build things that advance the story. The story is real dark and sinister. There's like monsters and stuff, and they come out at night, and you get scared, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens. So there's like a lot of different factors, like vibes that are like getting to me. It's like Wind Waker, but there's like a horror tone, but it's like this run-based Cult of the Lamb like progression, and it's like all of that into one.
It also
And for
sounds
those
a
of
little
you-
like Pikmin too, with like things happening at night.
Yeah,
Doesn't that happen
yeah.
in Pikmin?
Well, no, the new Pikmin is the first one that we're out at night.
Oh.
But in Pikmin, you have to get back before like
night. Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's just really good. And I think for a lot of people that have heard me talk about games for a long time, you can start to pick up the little different layers as to why a game like this is fit for me. I don't think this game would be for everybody. It's pretty grindy. I've already found a few exploits to kind of cheese the money system and the upgrades to kind of speed it up. But I mean, it's pretty grindy. You're going to be doing a lot of fishing before you advance the story. And then when you advance the story, you'll be doing a lot of fishing before you advance the next side of the story. But ultimately, you're just trying to find these relics for this collector, and it all goes bad. I'm aware that there is a good and a bad ending. I don't know how to get to each one, so I'm just going to get to whatever one I get to and then go from there, right? So I'm sure I'll probably get the bad ending is usually the default ending, so I'm sure I'll get that, and then I'll check out what the good ending is. But I think I'm close. I've got one relic left for the collector.
Nice.
So I think I'm getting there, but I'm
That's
digging
good. I will check out that game more. I don't know if I would like playing it, but this seems like it's a good type of game that I would enjoy watching somebody else play. So I hope somebody that streams that I watch plays it, so I can like kind of watch it and check it out.
Get an idea.
Yeah.
There's times yesterday I was just cruising around my little boat. It's like raining. The water turns like kind of gray. You get like that sea foam on top of it, and the wind. I'm just like, God, why don't we have Wind Waker? Like there's definitely scratching like a explore the sea kind of Wind Waker itch going on here for sure.
Yeah, I like that. You made me, when you said different endings, bad endings, something like that, it made me remember that I beat another game this week that I had gone back to, Ender Lilies, that Metroidvania that I started some time ago. I finally got to the end game of that, and I didn't know that there were multiple endings to that game until the very end, when I got the bad ending. Not the bad ending, but like the not the true
default
ending.
Yeah.
So like I just was going through normally and killed the boss or whatever, and it was like actually a very easy boss fight, compared to some of the other bosses in the game. Like there were some really, like, that was what held me back a lot in that game, was how hard the bosses were, like harder than Metroid Dread, and in my opinion. And I got to the final boss, and he only had one phase, and then it was like kind of like a sad ending or whatever, and it like kind of implied like if you go back and find this item, that's how you can get the true ending. And so I just watched it on YouTube.
That's what I was just going to ask you, how do you feel about that? Because like I played Nier Automata and loved it, had a blast, got the ending. I was like, this is so good. And then like went and looked it up, and there's like 9 endings. You're supposed to play the game over and over. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about games when they do that? Because typically this seems to be pretty common, especially in like the indie space. You get, I hate that we call it the bad ending, but you get the ending that usually everybody's going to fall across. And then you realize that there's an alternate ending that you could go and obtain by, like, usually what you said, collecting things.
For me, it depends. Like I have to really, really, really be into the game to like bite on that. like Undertale is a good example where, you know, I played through the game and you have to get the neutral ending before you can do the true ending. And so I loved that game enough that I was willing to go back and do the extra things that were needed, you know, to get the true ending. I don't know that I would ever like replay a game like from the start to get a different ending. That's not true. I did for Chrono Trigger. But like if it's like do a couple more things, like maybe if I'm really into the game, sure, I will do it. But otherwise I'll just watch it on YouTube or whatever.
XPS points out Symphony of the Night is like less than half the game if you don't go for the true ending. I agree with that. But also Symphony of the Night's first ending is kind of like a fake ending. Like it's an ending, but is it? It's like one of the Ubisoft fake endings. Like it's not really the ending though.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. So ultimately you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was really good. I liked that the soundtrack was beautiful. Like I said, the boss fights were a little brutal, but I love the exploration and like the movements and the abilities and stuff. Like if people are looking for like a good indie Metroidvania, I know there's a ton of them out there, but that's a really good one.
I remember Elaine playing it. I feel like I remember Garrett playing it. It's been on my wish list for a while, but I'm not that into Metroid, so I haven't bid on it. It'd have to be really cheap.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fair. All right. Anything else before we jump into this week in Nintendo?
Good.
We talked a little bit about the Mario movie already. Screen Rant, the website Screen Rant, did an interview with Miyamoto and Chris Meledandri from Illumination. Did I say that right?
I don't know. You did a good job. I was looking at it. I was like, oof, that's a name.
And they said it would appear as though the Super Mario Bros. Movie is just the start of the two companies' partnership. As Mr. Miyamoto says, that he is sure that they will continue to partner with the animation firm for future projects. He said there's nothing to announce right now, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. The Mario movie is doing pretty well as far as box office goes. It made $66.4 million globally on its first day. In 11 different countries, it was the top animated launch day ever.
Wow.
It's projected to reach $368 million globally before the weekend is over.
Justice for Sean.
I mean, sure. The soundtrack is on Spotify. That's not even... Okay. The soundtrack is on Spotify. I Am 8-Bit has a physical soundtrack up for pre-order, CD, vinyl, cassette. If you are interested, the soundtrack is really awesome. There are a couple tracks that got replaced with licensed music in the movie. And I think that was a terrible decision. Like, there's this really awesome Donkey Kong remix track. It is so good. And it's just not in the movie.
Oh, it's a bummer.
It is a big bummer. I heard it afterwards. And I'm like, this would have been awesome. Like, it is so good, that song.
I saw the Blu-rays are also going up. And there's like certain special packages at Target and stuff where you get Blu-ray cases that look like a star. And I didn't look into it, but I saw them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what do you think about future animation projects with Illumination specifically?
Yeah. I mean, it would be. I mean, look, the way this business works, if something is popular and profitable, they're going to do it. They're going to do more of them. Like that's the nature of the business. So as long as it sells, or they're going to make more, yeah, they're going to make more. But it shouldn't come to surprise anybody. Anything that becomes an like financial success, they're going to do more of. Because it's actually kind of hard. A lot of movies swing and miss. So anything that actually lands, they're going to do more of. You can almost, at this point, if the sales are this good, you could probably already expect 3 or 4 of them. Because even if the second one doesn't do as well, they'll do it again. So yeah, good on them. You get to see more Mario movies, I guess.
The after credits scene does kind of set up a sequel a little bit, or like tease like what could be coming. Of course, I feel like that was expected. So yeah, I think it would be silly to think that there wouldn't be a sequel to this at the very least. I've seen like a lot of people, and I know that there, might be questions about this coming up, but like, I feel like people who are saying, oh, they should, make a Zelda movie next, or they should make a Metroid movie next. They're still going to be working with Illumination. Illumination would not do a good job with those movies. I don't know why people want that. They think they want it. It's not going to be good. they're going to do another Mario movie, and that's what they should be doing. Like, that's the only thing that is going to appeal to the mass markets. Like, you're not going to get $66 million globally on the first day for a Zelda movie or for a Metroid movie or for anything else besides Mario.
That, I just want to say that's really impressive. Top animated launch day ever. You're talking about things like Toy Story and all that. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, not in this country, not in US, but like in
other countries,
Mexico, Argentina, like other countries.
We'll just go ahead and do this one now. Al writes, what Nintendo series do you want Illumination to make next besides Duck Hunt?
Duck Hunt.
So piggybacking off of what you said, I agree with you. I mean, Illumination isn't, one, they're just not even the right fit for something like a Zelda or a Metroid. I expect the next movies will be Mario movies, but I do wonder, could they do a Mario movie that has a heavy spin on like Donkey Kong? So it's like the Donkey Kong Mario movie. I think
that's the only thing that would work.
That.
Yeah. So I think anything within the Mario universe, yes. I think Yoshi would be hard to do on its own.
Ooh, interesting. What do you think about that?
Only other Splatoon. What would a movie be though? Like, I feel like it doesn't have that like big appeal.
Oh, I'm with you. I just think it's a great thought. Like, it's a great thing to just think about. Like, do you think, let's say we get Super Mario Bros. Movie 3 or whatever, do you think you see a Splatoon character like pop in and like just start splatting something? Or that'd be a neat little Easter egg that I think people
no, because that would break Splatoon lore.
Oh.
Humans are extinct in Splatoon lore.
Fair.
Also, I think the only other one that I would really want to see that I think could possibly work would be Kirby.
Ooh.
For Illumination specifically.
Yeah. That's good. I don't think I love Kirby, and I don't think I want a Kirby movie. That's a lot of Kirby. But could be fun. Could be fun. Like if it was a Kirby movie.
Kirby doesn't even talk, right? Kirby just like makes like noises.
Correct. If it was like a Kirby movie that like turned into like a Smash Bros movie, that'd be fucking awesome. But I don't know. I think a Smash Bros movie is an interesting idea.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'd want to go so far into like physical violence, even animated, but I think you can make a lot of claim that like a Smash Bros movie where they take on like a subset of Nintendo characters and you add in some third party stuff. Do I think something like that would be successful? Yeah, I do. I don't know if Illumination's the best people. They're doing the Minions, right?
Yes.
So they like do like, silly, kid cartoon comedy things. Yeah. So I don't know if that's the right fit, but like, could I see an animated Smash Brothers movie where like Sonic is there and Ryu and it's awesome? Yeah, I can envision that being awesome.
Yeah, I think if it was done right, sure. Do I think Illumination is the right ones to do it?
No.
Debatable.
Correct.
Yeah. Anything else on the Mario movie, Miyamoto? He needs to retire.
He's still seems very like gung ho. He does. It's been a long time, but he's the figurehead. So
yeah. And Nintendo announces free Joy-Con repairs for Switch owners in select countries. I feel like, wasn't this a headline 2 years ago?
2 years ago, they announced that they were like extending the warranty, right? They were doing it, but for a limited time. There was like a time period that they would fix all Joy-Con repairs while they had like those class action lawsuits that most have been dismissed. This time, the European Commission basically forced them to do this. They're like, hey, your product is so shoddy that you need to do this to our market, or they, I guess, threatened some action.
This didn't happen already? I thought it happened already. Maybe I dreamed it. Oh my God. So in a new statement shared by Nintendo on its support site, it was said that the Switch Joy-Cons will now qualify to be repaired, free of charge until further notice. In an effort for Nintendo to continue to provide high-quality video game products, these repairs, however, will only be made available to those in European Economic Area, United Kingdom, and Switzerland. So if you are anywhere else, tough nuggets, you cannot get your Joy-Cons repaired for free.
So when they had the class action lawsuits came and they were actually going to court, Nintendo opened up that they would be fixing Joy-Con repairs, like outside. And I think those were limited for a certain time. And at some point, like almost at the end of COVID, they kind of closed some of that down, if I recall correctly. But this
Okay.
time, the European Commission was like, "No, you need to just do this because we have a lot of complaints." And Nintendo relented, at least in the European market.
Okay. My Joy-Con are fine. Usually, some compressed air fixes any kind of drifting.
Of all
No
the years and
problem.
all the Joy-Con that I've ever had, I've only had an issue with one Joy-Con. And I swapped the stick myself. I realized that that's not something people should have. I also realized that that's not the common case. I've had a lot of people that every time I bring that up on a podcast, there's like always two people in the Discord. They're like, "Hey, I've had 16 pairs of Joy-Con, they all drift." So I realized that that's not the standard equivalent, but yeah, I've only had an issue with a one Joy-Con, and it was a custom Joy-Con, which is ultimately who I blame. Maybe I'm just not as hard on controllers, or as I've often thought, maybe I switch out Joy-Con too long. You know, maybe I'm always getting new Joy-Con and I don't ever keep them long enough to make them drift. That's
Maybe.
possible. Yeah.
I've had some drift. That's like not even the worst of my problem. I have one, I think it's my Animal Crossing Joy-Con, where the rail or whatever, it doesn't lock in. So if I'm like gaming too hard, it slides up and
Yeah.
gets disconnected. And I feel like I can't use that Joy-Con anymore because
I had
it's so annoying.
one of Jack's kids, one of the kids that came to Jack's birthday party tried to force a Joy-Con in the wrong direction and did that to a Joy-Con.
That sucks.
And I was very angry. I just
Yeah, I would be angry
I just
too.
threw it away.
Oh.
I was like, I'm not.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a mess.
That sucks. I'm excited about this next headline, Donnie. I know it's not a lot of information yet, but I think it has potential.
Okay.
Nintendo and DeNA establish a joint venture company called Nintendo Systems. There's a website in Japanese for it right now. Their focus is on creating new technological innovations in entertainment and delivering Nintendo entertainment to consumers. I put this on Discord and I tagged you because I thought you might be interested in this.
Tell me, and I saw that tag and I was just like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm interested.
Because I feel like, obviously we don't know what they're going to be doing yet, but like I think this wording is interesting, like for two reasons: the new technological innovations and delivering Nintendo entertainment to consumers. So, you know, all those times that we've talked about, like making, you know, the Switch Online games available in other places, making it so that, like, you know, we can access things like through our phones, through the PC.
Yeah.
I feel like that is like interesting wording to like maybe going in a direction
That's
other
what I was
than
thinking,
Nintendo consoles, but then also creating new technological innovations like as part of that. Like, this, like, I feel like we've talked about this at some point, but it still sounds bizarre every single time I say it, is like I feel like Nintendo wants to create a device that is not just for gaming, but like replaces, you know, your phone in some way. Like, you know, not
wow.
necessarily for like calls, you know, or text or anything, but like is like the entertainment app that is your Nintendo device that like has you do like day-to-day stuff. And like we've seen Nintendo like experiment with stuff like that on like the Wii U with like the weird call app and stuff like that. And like, you know, I just feel like they want to do what other people aren't doing. And I feel like this is a next step for them to create a device that is like more everyday use type of device.
Okay.
That is a Nintendo device.
My take on it originally when I first saw it was DNA mainly focused on mobile, partnering with Nintendo engineers to create this Nintendo Systems. I was thinking purely integration. This is an engineering place. They're going to do API integrations. They're going to talk about how to make systems talk to each other, how to make tools talk to each other. Maybe they're going to be very influential in the next software development kit. I was thinking maybe more background on that with maybe like pie in the sky, a refocus on mobile.
Okay.
Going back to mobile. I wasn't thinking about it kind of as deep as you are, although I think those are good points. You're right. Nintendo has tried to break into daily life. I don't know if necessarily a device is the best way, but I mean, we've seen them. They've been doing sleep monitoring. They've done like Wii Fit stuff. Like they've got the Pikmin walk thing, plus their mobile games. Like they kind of have like this idea. You can see it kind of being formed that they want to be around more often. They want to be involved more often in kind of your daily life. Outside of games, or if they can gamify something that people do. They think there's like a maybe some room for growth there. I mean, I just strictly want it to be gaming focused, because that's really all I want from Nintendo. But I've always hoped that maybe that they would build a true Nintendo app that would actually be the thing that we want it to be. And that would be my pie in the sky hope for this. I don't think it's going to be there, but my pie in the sky hope is that one day Nintendo launches the Nintendo app that integrates with your Nintendo console, that has its own mobile games on it. So you don't have to go to a different store and download different things. You can launch them all from there. That is integrated with Nintendo Switch Online. You can play Nintendo's NSO games on it as well. Like, and just have this whole big Nintendo app.
I would love that too. I think that would be fantastic. And I feel like the fact that it's DNA that they're partnering with for this, delivering entertainment to consumers.
And they're good at that.
They are. And I just looked up just now the things that DNA, am I saying that right? DNA?
Yeah, no, you are. It's
okay.
DNA. Mm-hmm.
Has worked on. They, have worked on Mario Kart Tour, Pokemon Masters, Fire Emblem Heroes, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Miitomo, Super Mario Run. Like,
and
they
all
are
of
very
those
involved.
games had a lot of, and it may be looked over as not a big deal, but a lot of those games had integrations with either My Nintendo or like Nintendo Online. You could click a button that would give you things in those games, or would download, or vice versa. So if there was a venture to kind of make that pie in the sky hope that I described happen, this kind of would look like it. Because I would love the idea of you have like your Nintendo app on your phone and you have your Nintendo app on your Switch, and it's like the same app, and you can open it, and like all of your updates are there, your messages are there, group things are there. You could use your phone, you could use a console. Like, that would be ideal.
Here's something that is promising to what you just said that I didn't know. DNA owns Mobage platform. It is one of the most popular cell phone platforms in Japan. It's a portal and social network for games owned by DNA.
Which is what I'm basically describing. A portal and social network for games based on Nintendo. Exactly.
So I feel like it could go kind of in that direction.
Yeah, because the Nintendo app sucks.
Would be good. Yeah.
But they've tried. It's not very good.
This would be very good. I like this partnership. So I thought that's why you might be, interested in it. That's why.
I didn't know if I'd missed something, if there was like a rumor or something around that I didn't know about. But no, we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Yeah, cool. And then we have a couple quick hitter news stories just to touch on. Pokemon Stadium from the N64 is coming to the Switch Online expansion pack this week on the 12th. I'm excited for that one, Donnie. I love Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Well, no, I don't have the expansion pack, so I won't get to. I have it on N64. You can boot it up the old-fashioned way.
Guess you can't play with me.
I told Jack, I was like, it doesn't integrate, because he was excited. He was so hoping that it was gonna. I was like, yeah, it's not doing anything with anything.
I'm excited for them to do Pokemon Stadium 2 because I have not played that one.
You can do if you go to like the Game Boy pack. You try to play Pokemon, it's just be like insert. It's just gonna say insert in your thing, and it's gonna be a little weird.
Yeah, but I like the mini games though.
Yeah, Stadium's dope.
That's where the fun is. Yeah,
Stadium's dope.
Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster is coming to Switch later this month on the 19th. I'm gonna get that because I've never played Final Fantasy 6 before, and I really want to play it.
Nothing nice to say about Final Fantasy ever, so I'm going to commit to the bet.
They fixed the font.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that already came out on mobile, right?
I don't know.
I thought they came to mobile like a year ago or whatever.
Mobile?
And then like they weren't coming to PC and they didn't come to Switch, and then people are all angry because they weren't coming to Switch. And then
people. So it just got announced, I think, for I want to say PS4 and
it got announced
Switch.
for everything but Xbox.
Know what you're
the
thing
that I know about is the Xbox people.
I don't know what you're talking about mobile. This is not a mobile game.
I thought they announced them for no?
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh.
Okay.
You're thinking of something else.
I mean, I'm definitely not the go-to authority on
that. Would be insane if this came out on mobile. Maybe I'm wrong.
Was it PC? It's announced for PC.
It was it's been on PC.
Okay, so Spagoop says they released on mobile and PC.
What? It's on mobile?
I thought so.
I
I
had
know
no
people were
idea.
mad. People were so mad when it was announced. They're like,
I
what?
had
It's not even coming to Switch?
No idea. But it is coming out on Switch and PS4.
Already available on PC via Steam and iOS and Android. Yeah. On the
Okay.
Square Enix website.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, the Final Fantasy fans can finally get in on the fun. How much? Do you have any idea how much it costs?
For $6. Yeah, it's like so expensive. I wanted to get the physical version, but it was like ridiculously priced and it sold out. On, let me see, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster for Switch. It is loading. Give me a second.
They're gonna make so much money off
$75.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make so much money off of this. Good
and
for them.
You can only get it digitally because it was only available physically on the Square Enix store and it sold out right away. I didn't get it on time because I was working.
Yeah. I'm not in Final Fantasy, so
yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
And I'm getting it for one game. Like, am I stupid?
Oh, you can even buy the games individually? You have to buy the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rebecca. Shouldn't you just like emulate that or something?
Yeah, but I want to play the remaster.
I'm with you. I get it.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait for a sale. I don't know. And then EA Sports FC officially confirms for Switch due July 2023. What is that?
It's FIFA. And when this came out, a lot of people are like, what is it? It's FIFA. For those that don't know, FIFA, the EA lost the license to FIFA in an ongoing negotiation. So EA eventually said, screw it, we'll just do it ourselves. So the new game is EA Sports Football Club. I think a lot of people thought it was Fight Club, thinking maybe it was a UFC game. Nope, it's Football Club. It's the new FIFA from EA. And it's still coming.
Just
still
FIFA,
coming to
but
Switch.
It's not called FIFA?
Correct.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Is this the first time FIFA is on Switch?
No. But a lot of people thought with the rebrand that maybe they would stop being on Switch because it's like one of the few sports games that EA publishes on Switch. And no, that's why this is notable. It will continue to release on Switch. It'll probably be the same that they've been doing. As I understand, they have like a next gen version of FIFA that is everywhere else, and they keep adding and updating a last gen version of FIFA that they're releasing on Switch.
Not to change back to the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. G-Man just said in chat that you can get each one separately, and he is right. Final Fantasy 6, $17.99.
Boom, there you go. There you go. See? We just saved her $70.
$65. 60 bucks.
Rebecca's like, this sucks. Guess gotta buy it anyway.
That's the only one that I want to play.
I found that hard to believe. I was like, wow, they're gonna make you buy every one of them. Wow.
But like, if it were Nintendo, it would be
I totally believed when you said it. It was completely believable. I was like, what a racket! Look at these people. But it was believable because honestly, Final Fantasy fans are so devout that they're, like you said, it's sold out. They buy them all anyway. So would I believe it? I definitely would believe it. But it's good. It's good. You can just out $20. That's not too bad.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So cool. Are you into FIFA? Is that something you do?
Not usually. I'll play it every now and again. Usually like around the World Cup. Like when we get like the big global World Cup type things, I usually pop in and play some soccer, but not year to year. No.
Okay. Well, that does it for the news. Why don't we jump into the questions?
Questions.
From this week.
Direct from you. Jay writes in, he's in honor of the Mario movie. What's your favorite bad movie? I guess since he thinks the Mario movie was bad.
He says mine is Good Burger. I'm sorry, that is a good movie.
I think that fits. I don't think it's a good movie as people like it, but I think that fits. So I was really excited about this question, maybe more than any question I've ever been asked on any podcast ever. So Rebecca, I have an affinity for loving good, bad movies. Love them. I think it's my...
This question is more for you.
This is like definitely my horror roots where, man, so many horror movies are so bad. Like to like horror movies, you almost have to enjoy a bad movie. So I've got a bunch, and I told him I was going to sit back and think about them, and I did. And I came up with a bunch. So I'll do all the horror ones out of the way. Idle Hands, Cabin Fever, Leprechaun, Urban Legends, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Any of those do anything for you?
I've never heard of any single one of those.
All right. That's why I wanted to read them all at once, because I've got one. Here's the one that I want you to know. Anybody out there listening to me, one of my favorite horror movies of all time is a terrible movie by all accounts, but it's called Night of the Comet, and it is freaking awesome. I love Night of the Comet. So if you're looking for a cool, obscure horror movie off the shelf, find Night of the Comet and give it a watch. I also have a deep love for like apocalypse movies and disaster movies, and they're almost across the board terrible, and I love them all. Dante's Peak, Godzilla, Twister, 2012, Volcano,
2012.
Day After Tomorrow, got all of them. Greenland, great. Oh, I love them. They're
Johnny,
great.
I went to go see Knowing. Have you seen that movie? Knowing?
Yes.
With Nick
Yeah.
Cage. For my birthday, the year that it came out, and it was so terrible. I was so pissed off leaving that theater.
Oh, that makes me think of The Happening. Everybody hated The Happening, the Shyamalan movie with Wahlberg. Nothing.
No.
Oh well, man, it's cool. It's like the plants make people kill themselves. It's awesome.
I don't.
Everybody
like
hated
like,
it.
it's
It has like a
so-
Rotten Tomatoes of like 9%.
It's like,
Everybody
why am I
hated
wasting
it.
my time watching this? I could be doing literally anything else.
I Can't See says End of Days. It's a really, really good one. He asked me to read off the first ones again. All right, the horror ones: Idle Hands, Cabin Fever, Leprechaun, Urban Legends, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'll also throw out two of the best good bad movies: Bloodsport and Roadhouse. Those movies are terrible movies, but they're so much fun. You've got to watch them. I'm still getting looks from Rebecca here. I'm not sure if I'm
I've
showing
never
my
heard
age.
any of these.
Roadhouse? Patrick
Nope.
Swayze?
I'm not a movie person.
Oh man. How about this one? This is from 90s. Deep Blue Sea. Really? Sharks? Nothing? Oh. Showgirls.
I've heard of that one.
It's got the Saved by the Bell girl in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about strippers and stuff. It was a rated X or whatever. It was terrible. Like, yeah, it is a terrible movie, but my wife watched it. I think we watched it like 2 years ago. She never watched the whole thing fully. So I own the movie and we watched it, and she was like, it's pretty like cringy, but in a good way. Like, it's entertaining, but it's terrible. I brought another 90s one for you. Waterworld? Kevin Costner? Nothing?
I know who Kevin Costner is. I don't know that movie.
Brink? Disney movie? It's just all of the air is just deflating. My sales are coming down here.
I'm not a movie person at all.
Demolition Man.
I've heard of that one. I don't
Sylvester
know it.
Stallone, Snipes.
Why
all
would
right.
I watch a bad movie?
All right. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat from the 90s. I think both count.
Okay, that counts.
Vin Diesel's Triple X, if nobody ever watched it, I also think counts. And then the last one that I just thought of on my little list here that I put together is Over the Top. Have you ever seen Over the Top?
Nope.
It is a movie starring Sylvester Stallone as a truck driver whose son is taken away from him. And to get his son back, Sylvester Stallone has to win an arm wrestling tournament. And when he arm wrestles, he turns his hat around backwards. These are some of my favorite things. Oh, I love these movies. I love a good bad movie. I almost get giddy if you can't hear it in my voice when I find one. When I find like a really bad movie that I really enjoy, I get really excited about it.
My answer to this question is The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
I want to say I think I've seen it, but I can't specifically recall it. The Room.
That's the best movie ever.
I'm wondering if I have the wrong thing. I'm thinking of like a box art with like a wallpaper on it. Is that it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's box art.
Oh yeah, no, I really don't think this is it. No, this is
You
different.
should watch it.
I should?
Yes.
Will you watch one of mine?
Okay. Which one?
Ryan's with you. Ryan's Donnie. The Room. So he must be in on it. Yeah, I have not seen that one. Okay.
Ryan knows.
Okay. I'll give it a look. I love a good bad movie, so I'll put it
Okay,
on
which
there.
one's okay? This might not be anything like your bad movies, though.
That's okay.
Which one do I need to watch?
That's such a good question. Chat, which one do you think we should ask Rebecca to watch? I feel
Josh
like
does Over the Top.
Yeah, I was gonna say something really like corny. Over the Top is good. Because I don't know if you like dig the horror stuff, or a lot of these other ones. I would say Over the Top, or maybe Brink. If you don't like Over Top, you want to kill it after 15 minutes, maybe give Brink a try. Brink is a 90s Disney movie about rollerblading, competitive rollerblading. It's very like kind of Mighty Ducks.
It has an exclamation mark at the end. Wait, why does it use the same font as like freaking like Indiana Jones or something?
Damn it, Chris, Brink is so good.
Okay, I'll watch Brink.
Yeah. I don't think Roadhouse is Rebecca's jam, Ryan. I don't think she just wants to see people just getting beat up and broken limbs and stuff.
I'll do it.
All right. Next one is from G-Man. Donnie, if you were to watch the Mario movie, what would you think? And he also asks, what would be a fun Easter activity with Nintendo characters? I honestly think my expectation will be that it's really good. It's probably chock full of Mario things, and I'll probably like it. That's what I would expect. Nothing like over the moon about. I wouldn't go crazy about it. But I think if you're asking me to guess how I'll come away from it, that's probably be my guess. A lot of times with like cartoon movies, especially that are really designed for kids, like I'll spend a quarter of the time on my phone, like looking at Reddit and things like that, in between like jokes and stuff.
Shame.
It's just the plots are just very shallow, and I don't really, like.
You're gonna miss all the references in the background if you do that.
See, Point Break's a good one. Nice. Fun Easter activity to do with Nintendo characters. Rebecca, go.
Yoshi's Egg Hunt.
Good answer. Better answer than I've got. Canadian Crawler writes in, not a question, but a few weeks Donnie asked if Animal Crossing fans wanted a remake. Fans absolutely want a remake or remaster of Wild World. The interactions with the villagers are among the best in the franchise, but the graphics are the very worst.
Yeah, they're DS graphics. I hate DS graphics. That would be a good one to remake if they were to remake any of them.
Nice. Do we get DS remasters?
No.
Joe says, the buzz this week was PlayStation might have a portable system coming. Do you expect more competition from the console makers for Nintendo? And if so, what do you think that means for Switch 2?
I think everybody kind of follows suit with what Nintendo does. I know they're not the first to do a hybrid, portable, whatever console. But I think people do see the success. And I think Sony might, want to dip back into that water that they did the Vita, the PSP in the past. I think it would be, kind of silly for these companies to not at least be thinking about, well, wait, maybe we can do a hybrid console too, even if it's just like on the side or whatever. Because I know PlayStation has like, they require games, with more power and stuff than Nintendo. What do I think it means for the Switch 2? I think that Nintendo is always, the one doing something different. So if everybody else starts to do this, they're going to do something different. So everyone needs to back off and let Nintendo just let this be their thing.
Let them cook.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you said most everything. Look, when you're that successful, expect competition. People aren't just going to let you just be that successful because they like you. That's not how the world of business works. I would be surprised if everybody wasn't thinking of doing something portable right now, especially as it looks like the return on investment for power is lessening, right? We're getting diminishing results and diminishing returns with every upgrade and every GPU. It's just getting like a little bit more frames, a little bit more stable. We're not getting these large leaps forward. So where's the room to innovate? At the lower end, where you can run, things that you could never expect in the palm of your hand. But what PlayStation is doing doesn't count, right? By all accounts, this is like a remote play device. That's not the same thing. Is it competition? Sure, but not the right competition.
This is an actual thing. I thought this was a rumor.
It is a rumor, but the rumor is reporting that they're coming out with a remote play device.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? PlayStation and Xbox are running PC x86 architecture. To run that handheld is basically Steam Deck. That's really expensive, and that's a huge commitment. especially when they're already kind of doing it with Steam Deck. And for as great as the Steam Deck is, and as much as people hear about it in the gaming sphere, it's not like selling tens of millions. I think they've sold like 1 million of them, you know? So I think Nintendo's eyes are much bigger. The hard thing for PlayStation, Xbox to do to support a device like that is what Nintendo has done. Is Nintendo is, instead of committing to the top tier and then trying to port down, Nintendo's in the opposite way. Nintendo is committed to the bottom. They said, this is our base. Our base is the Switch. It's the portable. And then you can dock it and play it better, but the base is the Switch. So it's a whole different thing. Like, they've adopted an ARM architecture. That's why it's so friendly with mobile. That's why we get so many mobile ports. Like, they went in the opposite direction. So even if Xbox was to come out with a native portable, I think it'd be really, really hard to replicate what the Switch is and to get support for it and to make sure you have a full library. I think that's why it's much easier for them to look at streaming remote play, partnering with PC, partnering with the PC handhelds that are coming out, because it's still a niche. You're not going to sell 115 million Steam Decks.
Right.
So Nintendo's got its own little space over there. And, but I do think they'll get more competition.
I think so too. And I think competition is good overall too. Like, I'm glad that the Steam Deck exists, to push kind of Nintendo a little bit. Seeing the power difference, seeing the capability differences. Competition is always a good thing. I didn't know that this PlayStation thing was a remote play device. That does, change things. But yeah, like you said, like, it would be silly for them not to, like, at least look at that and think, like, what more could we do with this? But yeah, I hope Nintendo does stick with it. I've said time and time again, I would be sad if they moved away from that.
Yeah, no, I think most people would, and I mean, they're not going to. You don't sell that many. The sales would have to fall off before they try to pivot away from it, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Greg says, I mean, honestly, before you even move on, that's the issue with the Wii U, right? They didn't pivot away from it. People think they did because they put a tablet on it, but it was just the Wii. It was the Wii with a tablet.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Greg says, do you think the acquisition movement has ended? If not, who do you think could be next? And do you think Nintendo will bring in any other studios? I'd love to see them add another Western studio. I
don't necessarily want them to. I think we've talked about this before. Maybe me and Garrett talked about it. I don't know. But I'd rather see what Nintendo is doing and just working closely with these companies. I think we see that from Nintendo more than them acquiring studios. Like, could they acquire, retro studios? Sure. Do they need to? No, they're doing just fine working with them. And, I don't know. I think it hurts overall when these companies are acquiring like little studios. Sure, that's fine. But like big studio acquisitions, there's not really any point, in my opinion.
Okay.
Do you feel differently?
Slightly. I mean, I feel differently on there's no point. I definitely think I would rather a studio be acquired by a corporation than closed down. And I think in some of those cases, I think in some cases that's usually on the table. I don't know about, I agree with you though on your first point. Nintendo seems to foster very close second party exclusive relationships. Mm-hmm. And they're very supportive. And we've seen that with so many of their studios, with Level 5, with Retro, with Grezzo. Like, could they acquire some of their partners? Sure, but I think that's not really their MO. And typically they like having kind of like a second party, an external party that they're not running, and it keeps them light, keeps them flexible, probably keeps their commitments, to their trying to think of the word, their expenses low. Mm-hmm. So it's probably good for shareholders. To be that kind of liquid and that fluid. So I think that works for them. Although I wouldn't mind seeing them add another Western studio. But to be honest with you, if Nintendo was to go shopping, I would expect that they would do what they did with DNA. Where they would pick up stakes, and I would expect them to turn towards probably developers nobody's ever heard of. Probably support studios, mobile studios, people have done work on other games that are outside of our console world. I think that's what they would target. I don't think they would actually buy somebody.
And I think, if they are going to acquire somebody, I would rather it be like those little studios that like maybe we've never heard of before that really can't function on their own without being bought out. I think studios that they work very closely with, like Retro, like that functions on its own, and doesn't need to be acquired to do better work. If that makes sense. Like working with Nintendo is like a second party type relationship, I think is mutually beneficial without the need like to be exclusively with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wanted to look it up.
Look what up?
I wanted to look up retro. Trying to get to Wikipedia. I thought retro was owned outright by them.
I don't think
not?
so.
So I know not all of theirs are.
It was founded as an alliance between Nintendo and Iguana Entertainment. Oh, maybe it is. It says that Nintendo is a parent company. Is that the same thing as?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe retro is a bad example, but overall, my point stands.
Yeah. No, but they have others. They have several others. They have multiple others like that. I'm trying to remember who is the not who made. Oh my god, I feel like I hate when this happens. I'm on a podcast. I'm trying to remember something I can't, because you can't just like stop doing everything to look it up. Who makes Luigi's Mansion? We're gonna look
Open
it up.
it up.
'Cause I think I said level 5, and that's not right. It's like next
Which
level.
one?
Next
Oh,
level
next-
games.
Okay.
So they got bought out, but they only got bought out because their shareholders were going to sell. Like they were like, hey, Nintendo, like we're going to make a lot of money off of this. We're going to sell. But like they've been exclusively like a second party, like Game Freak, as Goop says, for so long. And Nintendo has a bunch of those. There's like 10 studios that they're like,
Okay, better example than retro. Game Freak, HAL,
yeah,
Intelligent
of
Systems,
course. Yep.
Camelot,
Yeah.
Platinum Games.
And you would think all of these studios are first party studios because that's all they do.
Mhm.
Like all they do is make Nintendo games
Grezzo.
for the most part. But yeah, but they're not, they're not necessarily on the books, maintained, operated by Nintendo. They have some autonomy on their own.
I don't need them to buy Grezzo. Like
Correct.
Mercury Steam. Like, yeah.
Cool. Kate says, what video game will you spend your life defending against internet opinions? Good question.
Internet opinion. Is that supposed to be like games that other people don't like?
That's how I would take it. Or maybe you hate a game that everybody loves. I guess it works that way too.
Well, it says defending.
Oh, well, I guess
Defending
you're right.
against. I don't know. What do you have?
Far Cry 5.
Yeah. Also, probably
the one
for
that-
you. What's that one that you like? What's that pseudo game?
No More Heroes.
Yeah. You defend that one.
I like it. I don't necessarily defend it. Like review scores are bad for it, and I usually think those review scores are probably right. Like it's a good bad video game, kind of like our movie talk from earlier. I would never be like, this is a 10 out of 10. I would never defend it.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
But I do defend Far Cry 5. People hate that game. That game's amazing.
I don't know if I have anything like this.
Oh, man.
Defending. Man, I wish I thought about this before.
There's got to be, everybody has a game that they really like that I
No.
don't think a lot of, that.
I'm trying to think.
Astral Chain probably fits for me. I remember that game. I love Astral Chain. I think it's one of the best exclusives on the system. I think a lot of people just think it's okay. It's mediocre.
Let me keep thinking. Let's do the rest of the questions
right.
and I'll keep thinking.
Sure. Drew wants to know, do you think Nintendo will ever do another mini console again? He says he'd love to have a mini GameCube.
Is that like talking about like the SNES Classic, the NES Classic? I think the only one that would ever have a shot is the N64, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point with like, I don't think there were enough games for them to put on an N64 Classic. I think a
If-
GameCube classic will never happen. I'm sorry.
If they did an N64 classic, and hang on, G-Man says Pokemon Rumble is his, and I'm going to throw out Pokemon Quest too. People hated when Pokemon Quest was shown off. That game is awesome. One of my favorite Pokemon games in so many years. So if they ever made an N64 Classic Mini, what cartridge would they put in it in the mold? What do you think? What cartridge would be in the mold?
What are you talking about?
So like, think of an N64, right? You had you had to put a cartridge in it. They're not just. Or do you think they're just going to have an N64 with no cartridge? Like it's just blank.
What are you talking about? The Super Nintendo Classic don't have a cartridge in it.
Oh, I guess you're right. I always thought that there would be like one on top of it. No, I guess you're right.
Not. I have one right over there. Don't
Yeah.
have a cart in it.
Dang. Well, to answer Drew, yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to get another one. If they did, I think the one to do that would sell would be a Game Boy. They could come out with like a little Game Boy with some games on it. I think people would buy that.
Mini.
I don't think people. I mean, I would love a 64 or a GameCube. I think a GameCube would sell gangbusters. But
yeah,
the thing is that basically the Super Nintendo and the NES ones, like those are like little Raspberry Pis, right? You don't need a lot to emulate those games. It's super cheap. I don't think we're quite there yet with GameCube. So I don't think that would happen. I think that's why we don't have a whole lot of GameCube emulation on Switch at all. So
probably.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet.
Me neither. Okay, I got some answers potentially. This isn't really quite fitting the
Ricardo says no. Hang on, Ricardo says no cartridge pre-install game. No, we know. I know that the games come pre-installed. I thought that so much of the look for me is like having something there. I thought maybe they would have like a placeholder there or something.
Like a just Mario 64.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, what would that game be? They'd be like
it would
Mario
be Mario
64 sticker. Yeah.
It would
Okay.
Be, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I think you're thinking because hold on, I gotta show you now. The Hallmark.
Yeah. I have that too. Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, in my head, I was like,
the Hallmark Christmas ornament has a little Super Mario World cart in it.
Yeah.
Come out or anything, but no, the classic does not.
My classic is a Super Famicom Mini, which still has the cartridge slot, but is not like in the same look. So I've never, again, the image in my head I had was that.
Okay.
So yeah, I was thinking that they would have a cartridge. To just have a Super Nintendo 64, to have a Nintendo 64 there with nothing, just feels off to me for some reason. In a way the Super Nintendo doesn't.
Yeah.
It does, right? Like it's just there. Wait, there's no game in it?
My N64 is on the top of my shelf. I'm reorganizing and stuff, but it has a cart in it.
I gotta get me some Kirby's, man. I gotta get me some Kirby's.
Okay, so it doesn't totally fit the prompt of spend my life defending against internet opinions, but I won't shut up about this. Y'all have still not bought Live Alive. I know you didn't. I know you haven't bought it yet, and you said you would, and I will spend my life defending that game. Y'all said you would buy it, and you didn't. So there's that one.
Solid choice. Yeah.
And also, everybody hates Zelda 4 Swords for GBA.
I didn't know everybody
PS5,
hated that.
because nobody has played it and they think it's like Triforce Heroes, or they think that it is just 4 Swords Adventures. At the bottom of every Zelda tier list, people put it because they have this assumption, but they have not played it. It is so good. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you just put Triforce Heroes on my list. You can put that on my list. The game is better than people think. And you can put Metroid Federation Force on the list too.
Okay.
At me. Come get some. Game is good.
Good.
We had fun. Last question comes from the KTP, Kyle the Pug. What is your go-to Easter candy? Mine is Cadbury cream eggs.
Not a big candy person. Easter candy. I like those little eggs that have the malt in them. Like they're like Whoppers, but they're little eggs with the candy coating instead of chocolate.
No idea.
Really? I don't know what
Yeah.
they're called. Malt. I'm just gonna type in malt eggs to see if they have a name. Robin eggs. Yeah, robin eggs. That's my jam.
Okay. I typically don't like much Easter candy. It's very chocolate
Me
based,
neither. Yeah,
and
I don't
chocolate
like it
isn't
either.
my gig.
Same.
But my Easter candy, if it would count, I think it does, because several companies do their own special versions, are probably jelly beans.
I like jelly beans.
I dig jelly beans, and a lot of folks do Easter versions of jelly beans, Starburst, and stuff like that.
See, I get very sick if I eat candy and chocolate. So
Really?
I try not to. Like if I have like a little tiny bit, I'm fine. But if I have like an amount that normal people eat, I get sick.
Oh, wow. I clearly have no problem eating candy, as you can see. So,
I mean, candy's good, but I feel so sick every time I eat it.
okay.
So, yeah,
Well,
I don't
that'll do
really do much for Easter. I'm going to my parents for dinner. That's it. We're having ham.
We've got folks coming over in about an hour.
Well, have fun. Have fun. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I'm in denial about it.
I don't know if fun's the right word. My wife is adamant that she's going to have like this Easter egg hunt, and I was with her last night. I was like, why do you keep doing this? Like, she is 16 years old. Like, she doesn't believe in the Easter bunny. Like, she doesn't care. And I think my wife is just like clinging on to childhood, right? So she's like, we're going to do it. We're going to do the Easter egg hunt and everything. And then apparently my daughter just no-sold Christmas. No-sold Easter. She just woke up this morning and did not care at all. And I was like, of course, because that's what teenage girls do. Because like she knows that you cared about this. So of course, I was like, I don't know.
You only bring up her. What about Jack?
Jack's down for whatever. He's like, cool, candy.
Well,
like, he's not like excited about the Easter bunny.
Is he doing the egg hunt?
He likes the egg hunt because his grandfather always hides a $20 bill in an egg somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, it's not really about the egg hunt. To him, it's about finding $20.
Yeah.
He just wants to go find $20.
That's fair.
They're spoiled, rotten $20. Never got $20 in an egg hunt. $20? That's so much.
Inflation, Donnie.
Inflation.
Everything costs more.
That's true.
If you find a quarter in your Easter egg, it's not the same thing anymore as it was when we were kids.
I guess you're right. You're definitely right there. I went grocery shopping yesterday. It's just like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I laughed this morning. I got a message from my wife. She was like, she didn't even care that we did this. She was like, I'm just not going to do it next year. And I'm like,
did she get Easter basket?
You did this to yourself. Yeah, she got an Easter basket.
Easter
she had like socks in it and makeup and all that. And
I love that stuff.
She didn't care at all.
Really?
Victoria just no-sold it and just moved on.
Ungrateful.
That's the thing with Victoria, is if she can use it against you, she will. Like, she's just like, you've got to protect yourself. I told Melissa, I was like, all right, this is not going to go.
Use what against you? What?
Like if she knows something like, just like when she's getting an attitude, she's just a teenager, right? When she thinks you care about something a great deal, yeah, she knows it's the easiest way to hurt you, and it's going to happen.
Ouch.
So unless she's in a really good mood.
That's a teenager thing.
Oh, 100% it is. And the sad part is my wife knows that. Like when I was explaining, she's like, I know. I'm like, but you're doing it anyway. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so we're just going to go through this anyway.
She's doing it because it's not for Victoria. Melissa's doing it for herself because
I know
she finds enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. Until the teen daughter doesn't care about it and like throws the stuff on the ground. Then there's no more enjoyment about it.
Breaks her heart.
Yeah. See, that's the difference. Very, very good way of pointing out differences, because if I was in charge, it's like, we're not doing this.
See, then Victoria will go to college and she'll be different and she'll have a good relationship with you guys again.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells us.
She's 16?
Yeah.
17? 16?
Yeah, 16. Turned 16 in January.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you still find ways to enjoy Easter despite all of that.
Hey, man, Easter dinner. I'm here.
Easter dinner.
Have a lot of fun.
That's
the sad part is, like, it didn't even bother me. I took it in stride. Of course it was going to happen. Of course.
There you go. So. All right. Well, enjoy your holiday, enjoy your week. Hopefully good Nintendo stuff happening this week, and we will see you next time.
Bye, Kooplings. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?